welcome to another unboxing video from theplayersaid.com. My name's Alexander, and today we're looking at the illustrious Hannibal and Hamilcar. And this is from Mark Simonich. This is the 20th anniversary edition that's put out by Phalanx Games. And it's an old game. It's been around for 20 years, but this is kind of the newest edition that was put out. So you can see they've got all the prestigious Best Two-Player Game Golden Geek Awards from 2008 and the Best War Game it won in the same year, kind of swept some categories there. This game is a two-player game, and it's Romans against Carthaginians here. So we're going to take a look. As you can see, beautiful artwork. This is a big box, it is heavy, and there's a lot of stuff in it. So we'll just get cracking on this one, because this is one we've looked at for a while, but getting a hold of it was a different question, but this new edition is this is it. So you can see immediately a ton of cards and some miniatures here. They provide you a ton of bags, which is nice. Really, really like that. We have some custom dice, and these are, let's get them out. Some different sizes here. This dice is huge. I want to say, okay, yeah. And these are smaller dice, different colors, and they all have some different symbols on. So these are great components. We'll get to how those are used a little bit later on. A lot of cards here, as you can see. There's a bunch of different decks. So these ones have kind of the elephants on them, which look so cool. This deck's got an octopus on it. Hail Hydra. We'll open those here in just a second so we can take a little look. But here we have, these are the miniatures. Alright, and these are huge. Like scale-wise, these aren't like your normal 28mm miniatures or anything like that. Oh, let's see. These are stapled shut here. So you just want to be careful opening these. I'll just pop this. These things are pretty big, just to give you an indication. These are pretty standard sized cards, and these are they're over half the size, just for a scale here. But these are great miniatures. These are a pretty hard plastic, which is nice. It's not resin, it's definitely an injection molded plastic, which is nice. But you can look at the details on these. These are glorious looking miniatures. They've got stats on the bases, so you don't have to worry about any of that. But just look at how cool that they are. Different poses. Just iconic looking miniatures. And there's a ton of them. And just looking quickly, none of these repeat. These are all unique, which is amazing. I absolutely love that. I love that they have put that into a game, which is very, very nice. I mean, some of these, look how cool this guy is. There's Imperial Eagle. Amazing. This guy up here with this little trident and sword crossed. Just such cool figurines. This is going to be one of those games that looks amazing on the table. Now, a couple of little caveats here. You can see this one, pretty warped spear. So you just want to take some boiling hot water, dip him in. You'll be able to bend this and then dip it in some ice water, and it'll kind of set back in that new position. So there's a couple bits where you might want to do that. This guy here, his little spear, his little kind of staff, kind of the same thing. So that's just something to bear in mind. Not breaking the game in any way, but if you want to do that, more than welcome to. Rulebook. This is a pretty hefty rulebook for what it is. This is the miniature storage guide, so you remember where to put them in, because each one of these holes is specifically molded for each guy. Some of them are quite similar in poses, so remembering that this guy doesn't go in here, you're like, oh, his helmet's too big. These are quite similar, so the little guide is there just to help you out with where they go in. That's nice. But outside of that, this is, let's see, 31 pages long, sources on the back, optional rules, but a lot of this is rule. But yeah, it's a lot of pages, sure, but this is a small rule book size-wise, and the text is huge, as you can see. there's a lot of text, but it's not necessarily the most dense. This shouldn't be a complex game to learn. Well, that's a really nice rulebook. And sure, this is a war game, but having this in such a popular game, a playbook, I think is kind of a rarity. There's not a lot of companies that actually do this that aren't hardcore war games. So this is really nice. This has just historical background, how to actually play and play well. It's got a kind of a turn sequence and some examples of what that might look like. How to win, hey, here's things that you should look to do. This is actually really excellent. This is one of my favorite things, and I think every game that can have this should have this. This is what the game looks like set up. So many times it just describes to you in words, and if you're ever not clear, that can be really hard to kind of make a decision on. That might break the game before you even start playing it. Showing me, having it in a picture, I love this. I love the games that do this. Just makes it very helpful for me. Here's a tutorial. Explains how to implement the rules, things that might go on. So set this up, follow what it says, do what it says, and it kind of shows how to do this well, how to use your naval transport with success. Again, how to conduct combat, what that might look like. This is just a great way to learn the game. So read the rules, then read this, in my eyes. A lot of reading, but you do this so that when you play the game, you're not scratching your head of like, how do I make this game do what I want it to do? How do I command my army properly? That playbook is your key to this game. So excellent that a game, again, of this pedigree has that. This scenario book, I'm gonna be honest, this is all the scenarios in it. It's 43 pages. This scenario book has more pages in it than both the playbook and the rulebook. Now the reality is, let's see, 14 scenarios this has. 14 scenarios. That's insane. That's excellent though. This game isn't just, oh, fight this war. This is what it is. It's not generic. There's good history in this, which again, for a game like this that's accessible, is really impressive. So you start at the Second Punic War, invasion of Italia, Hannibal ad Portas, Post-Cane. I mean, there's a ton of stuff in here. Climax. I mean, you go all the way. I mean, there's just a ton of, you play just Iberia. There's a ton of stuff in it. This is not a one and done game. You will play this game a lot, especially if you've got someone to play with that is into this. An exciting prospect. So this is a province display. So this kind of condenses the map into just the provinces so that you can know who's where and what. On the back of this you have attrition table, siege table. It's just a play aid, this one. Short play aid here. So this has a condensed sequence of play and how to do it, but I say condensed. This is actually a lot of detail for a sequence of play, so we like that. On there as well. Here's another one. This one's different again. So this has little terms of the abbreviations, reinforcement step, victory check, naval, land battles, things like that. So we'll be keeping those handy. I wonder if these are interesting. Are these turns different? Reinforcements, no. I think these are just both different. This looks like it's a bit more expanded than this. I'm not sure if those are different for each play. I don't think so though. But lastly, oh, not lastly, I spoke too soon. So we have a ton of tokens here. There's 4 of these. You can see a lot of them are for the different armies. You have all these red ones and then all of these kind of army tokens down here with different troop types and different non-troop factions. So there's like some barbarians, different factions like that. Looks like some Greek-looking dudes. Some cavalry units down here as well. There's big tokens for turn, dictate, dictator, proconsul, and these are all double-sided. These, I was just picking it up and these are almost falling out. And these are beautiful. Look at these. Look at the detail on these guys here. Just, that's really excellent production value on these. So a bunch of these, which is nice because they gave us the bags, remember? Bunch of those. Oh, let's put those away. But the map is what we came for. So let's crack it open. Oh. Alright, let's make sure I get this right, because there's 2 maps in this game. This is the first one. Ooh. Okay. And the scenario book that we looked through, that tells you which map to use and how much of the map to use and when and where, different stipulations. So this is kind of like the main board. Looks like, yeah, you're gonna play it this way. So you have one person on this side, one person on this side, because the writing is generally coming this way. Yep. Although, as you're sat on these sides, when you look to this direction of the board, you'll see these tracks and aids are upside down as we're looking at it. But you'll be sat on each side, so as you look over here, you'll be able to read this, and as you look over there, you'll be able to read that. So, pretty cool little design there. And this is a Simonich game. Simonich does all the maps, well, not all of them, but a lot of the maps in the kind of hardcore wargaming world, so I presume he had a lot of input into how this map was done. I feel like that would have been the case. But beautiful, functional. The line's pretty easy to see. There's different types. This is point to point, so you've got squares, circles, what those mean. So you'll have probably cities and just normal regions, things like that. And then we'll flip it over. Because on this side, we have a similar looking, but apparently different map. But again, you sit on the same sides. So this one you get kind of the northern part of Italy and southern France over there as well, that cuts down to the Iberian Peninsula here. So there's a lot of stuff going on. Both of these boards have the same kind of charts and tables on either side of it, but this just has different geography, because you figure from the scenarios, you know, just from a time standpoint. So these first ones are kind of like 200 BC-ish, and then you've got ones which are much, well, are they much later? No. 213 BC, 215 BC, 216, and it basically gives you, so this one doesn't have all those naval connections, for example, so this is where you're going to be fighting your land campaigns, things like that. So it'd be interesting to see how those kind of play out there. But the cards was the other thing that we wanted to kind of take a look at. There's, alright, we'll just open this one here, just to take a little look. The functionality of the cards I'm not sure about, because these cards assist what you're doing. So you're gonna, these look like they're different flank maneuvers, and you're gonna roll dice. This special things, frontal assaults, things like that. But that's basically what these do. Leadership cards, different special abilities. Very simple instructions, very clear. And these have a bunch of different backs on them. So you have your octopus there, you got your crossed swords for combat. Looks like those are all combat ones there. And then we'll crack open these elephant ones. These look like they might be more event type cards, he says. Let's open it. So these ones have your elephant on the back. And these ones are things like grain shortage, or so Hanno counsels Carthage. And these have different effects, which are all, again, described on them. But each of these has a unique artwork on them, which, again, for a 20th anniversary, really, really appreciate. I love a game that looks great and gives you a depiction of what the card, you know, these are just, here's some, you know, game effects, but here's what it was and what it looks like in history and why those effects come into play. I just like illustrations to help me with my game. And there's 2 more whole decks of those. And each of the scenarios, let's take a little look here real quick. Each of the scenarios tells you, has like an optional card distribution, so you can optionally put in certain cards or take them out depending on what you want a game to look like and kind of the flow of that. So that unboxing of Hannibal versus Hamilcar. Very excited to play this one. Just a great looking war game. So appreciate you guys tuning in. I've been Alexander from theplayers8.com.